Hello students, today we will discuss on the topics of the drive shaft. Light vehicle drive shafts now fall into one of the two main category. Drive shaft with constant velocity CV joint and propeller shaft with universal joint. The first being by far the most popular. One is drive shaft with constant velocity joints. As shown in the figure, it transmits drive from one from the output of the final drive to each front wheel. They must they must also allow for suspension and steering movement because of which they are provided with constant velocity joint. CV joints or constant velocity joints facilitates drive shaft to change its length without changing power transmission. Propeller shaft with universal joint. It transmits drive from the gearbox output to the final drive in the rear axle. Drive then continue through the final drive and differential via two half shaft to each rear wheel. The propeller shaft must also allow for suspension movement because of which it is provided with universal joint or UV joint and slip joint. Combination of universal joint, slip joint facilitate propeller shaft to change its length without changing power transmission. The picture the figure shows the propeller shaft with universal joint and slip joint. When it comes to the symptom, possibility, and fault in the drive shaft, basically three types of symptoms are showing here. First one is vibration, second is grease leakage, and third is knock. If the symptom is vibration, then the possibility falls of incorrect alignment of propeller shaft joint, worn universal or CV joint, bent shaft, and damaged mounting. If the problem is grease leakage, then the fault means heater split or loose clip. If the problem is knocking, then the faults are lack of lubrication in joints and worn of CV joint. Now come to the common services to be carried out for drive shaft. Any depression or wrinkle caused by erroneous loading of the vehicle or by load irregularities. A paint of wrinkle drive shaft especially when the vehicle is under load. This collapse of the drive shaft can cause severe damage to the vehicle and many cause an accident. Number two is undercoating, grease or dirt build up on the drive shaft can cause a vibration. Number third, undercoating should be removed using a suitable solvent and a rag. Always dispose of use of rag properly. The universal joint should be inspected every time in the vehicle chassis in lubricated and 4 times a year. Original equipment U-joint are permanently lubricant and have no provision for a greasing. If there is greasing fitted, then U-joint, the universal joint, should be lubricated by applying grease with a grease gun. When it comes to the CV joints, require special grease. Grease is an oil with thickening agent. Most CV joints grease is molybdenum disulfide type grease. The most CV joint grease is molybdenum disulfide type grease, commonly referred to as moly grease. The exact composition of the grease can vary depending on the CV joint's manufacturer. The grease supply with a replacement CV joint or boot kit should be only grease used. The exact grease of the use depends on the many factors. Number one is the type of the CV joint. Next is the location of the joint of the vehicle, and number third the type of the goods. Now come to the differential gearbox. Differential allow engine torque to be applied to both drive axle, which rotate at varying speed during cornering and while traveling over bump and tips in the road. The differential also changes the direction of engine torque 90 degrees from the rotation of the drive shaft lengthwise in the vehicle. The two purposes of the differential can be summarized. Number one is to change the direction of the engine torque. Number two is to allow the drive wheel to rotate at different speed. Here the picture shows the two summaries. First picture shows the changing the direction of engine torque with the help of the differential, and picture 2 shows that the necessity of differential at the time of taking turn. Now come to the differential is mechanically addition and subtraction assembly. By splitting the engine torque to the drive wheel when the vehicle is turning a corner, the torque force causes the side gear and pinion gear to subtract torque from one side to all and add torque to the opposite side. Whether any vehicle makes a turn, the outside wheel must travel a greater distance than the inside wheel. The drive shaft applied torque to the drive pinion gear that messes below the center line of a crown wheel. So, we must know the working of the differential. Now we need to know common services to be carried, common services to be carried out for differential. One of the major reasons why differential are services is to correct a noise problem, knowing when and under what condition the noise is noticeable. It's a big help in identifying which the bearing or component on probable reason. The typical noise and its source include grinding or growling noise with turning. Usual cause is a defective axle bearing. Number two is wind noise during the cruise. Damaged drive pinion bearing are the probable cause of this noise. Carefully inspect the differential for obvious damage or wear. Check the backlash as the shown in picture. The backlash is the amount of clearance between the drive pinion and the ring pinion. Excessive backlash could indicate excessive wear. Use a dial indicator to check and compare the result for with specification. Also, use a dial indicator to check ring gear runout. If any of the visual measurement tests indicate a problem or a noise analysis indicates a bearing problem, the axle assembly should be disassembled for further analysis and services. As almost all the differential use high-powered gear sets, a special lubricant is necessary because the gears both roll and slide between their mesh. It is advisable to check the exact specification of lubricant specified by manufacturers before adding or replacing gear axle lubricant. After refilling the differential, different drive the vehicle is in a figure 8 pattern at least 4 times to help the lubricant and additivity get into the space between mating gear. So, student, here we will discuss on the service, repair and overhauling of the final drive. So, thank you class.